For this past month, we have been working on some whips. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from The Cozy Crow, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're at a slightly different angle. My screen protector on my phone cracked, and that's how I film, and it happened to crack right through my camera, so I'm getting weird glares from the light out the window. Let me show you. Like, isn't that freaky? So from this angle, you don't see that glare, so that's why we're doing it at this angle. If you like this angle, let me know, because I don't mind this, but I've had a busy month in February trying to finish some works in progress, starting some others, and so I'm excited to share with you what I've been working on recently. The first finished object I have to share with you today, I'm going to insert a picture because it is currently in my son's laundry, but this is the Shoo Shoo mini set by Lolita Doobie, and this is a two-piece set made for kids and babies. I just love this cable detail on it, and that's really what drew me to it. The reason why I casted this on was because I realized I didn't have a blessing or a christening outfit for my son, and I realized that we had like a date in mind for when he would be blessed, and I didn't have an outfit for him. And so I decided to look and see if I could hand knit something. My daughter had something that was sewn, and it was also one of those really long gown type things. I didn't want to do that for my son, and so I thought it would be nice to knit him something so he could still have kind of an heirloom piece that was handmade. And I'm really happy that this all worked out. I knit the 3 to 6 month size, so it is definitely big on him. The legs are very, very long, but the sleeves of the jumper on top is also a little bit long, so I think he has plenty of room to grow into this whole set, but it wasn't too big, I don't think. Like, it was just cute, something fun for him to wear. Like I said, I love the cable detail on this, and that's what really made me pick this set. It was recommended to me that I pick something with separate parts so that if he had a blowout, we could take off blowout pants and then we could change him into something else but keep the sweater on. So that's what we did. And you know what? He had a blowout like 5 minutes before the blessing. Thankfully, it stayed in the diaper, but it was a close call. So I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. There's some really cute gold buttons on the back. I don't actually know what the metal composition is, or if it's just like gold plated or colored in gold. I don't really know, but they are a metal button, so they're really nice. They've got a little bit of weight to them. I've got, I think, 4 extras, so I can use them for other projects too, and they just kind of elevate this piece, which I really, really love. Since it was so small, it was pretty quick to make. I used Cascade Yarns Elysian in the colorway white for this, and I used up almost 3 skeins of yarn. Yardage estimates in the pattern were appropriate. It worked out great. I decided on the Cascade Elysian yarn because it is an acrylic and superwashable blend, so I thought it would do really well washing in the washer and dryer, especially with a baby and all the different things that could get on it. I figured that would be the best way to make sure that it could have longevity. And I threw my swatch in the washer and dryer because that's how I planned on washing the actual piece, and it looked unfazed. So I felt confident in moving forward with that. I will say this pattern definitely was originally written in French. And so reading the English translation, there's a couple parts that didn't quite make sense in my English brain. And there were a couple parts even that French was left in the pattern, just little blips here and there. So I was able to work through the pattern just fine. I feel like in general, it was a well-written pattern, but just a note there that that might stress you out if you don't speak any French, which I don't. It definitely caught me off guard a little bit. I'm looking forward to putting my son in this outfit over and over again and getting some really good use out of it, and then hopefully saving it for the long term. So I'm really happy with how that set turned out, and I would be interested in making something else from this designer. I know they've got lots of cute little kid patterns. I've got a couple pairs of socks that I've finished that I want to share with you. This pair I've been meaning to finish, and I'm really glad I knocked them off my list. These are the Stick Together Now socks. I do have 2, in fact. Ta-da! I just didn't feel like pulling out my sock blockers because this is kind of a spontaneous filming time. Because with 2 kids and one of them being a newborn, I take time where I can get it. Hey, it kind of matches my shirt. I love it. I do have a color palette, in fact. But this pattern is by Jessica Antonio Notoriani, and I tested this pattern for her. So I had already finished the first sock, and I was very slowly working my way through the second sock. And I stumbled upon the sock when I was trying to get a project bag and switch things out. Basically, I was gonna knit some socks during church, and I needed a bag for it. So when I was looking for a bag, I realized these socks I should work on first. So I finished the pair. I used Patton's Croix socks in the colorway Brown Rose Marl. I really like the striping. It's very interesting because we have this big block of color, a couple rounds of other colors, and then another big block. I am having a hard time talking. I really like how this colorway works up because you have a big block of color and then you have a couple rounds of other colors, just tiny micro stripes, and then you have another big block of color and it kind of just like cycles through all the colors. So really cute. I really like how that worked out. And this stitch pattern is really intuitive, really simple. It's a 4-round repeat, so it's pretty easy to keep track of and to just kind of mindlessly go along with it. And it's just like a nice vanilla plus type of a sock pattern. The other pair of socks that I finished this month, you have not seen yet, but I do have a vlog coming out on my channel about this pair of socks. So I'm gonna talk a lot more about this pair in that vlog if you're interested. But these are the Soxploration socks by Denise DeSantis, or Earth Tones Girl, here on YouTube. I highly recommend you check out her channel. She's a great teacher, very patient, very sweet and peaceful. Like, she's a really great presence here. And she recently wrote a book called No Fear Sock Knitting. And in this vlog, I read the book, review it, and then knit a pattern from it. So the Soxploration socks she has in her shops as well. I don't know if the pattern in the book is identical to the pattern that you can find online, but I followed the book version of the pattern if they're different, which uses a shadow wrap heel, which was new to me. And that's kind of the reason why I wanted to review this book, because first of all, I love books about yarn, and I love yarn about books too. And I thought it would be really fun to try a new to me heel. I want to explore more with constructions I'm not as familiar with, since I have knit over 100 pairs of socks and I've done a lot of traditional constructions. I just want to branch out a little bit more with different types of heel, different types of shaping, etc., etc. So the Soxploration socks use a shadow wrap heel, and it's basically another short row heel. It's similar to the Fish Lips Kiss heel, kind of similar to the German short row heel, nothing too crazy there, but this yarn is a standout for me. This is from Woolens and Nosh, and this is their collaboration with Earth Tones Girl, and this colorway is called So This Is Love. I love this base. It feels so good. It felt really good to knit. It feels good on my feet. It's got a little bit of sturdiness or tooth to it. It is 90% Targhee and 10% nylon, and I just really enjoyed it. I'm really excited to see how these wear long term, since the feel of the yarn was definitely a little bit more hard wearing. Again, you can find out more about the yarn, the pattern, the book that I took the pattern from, all that jazz, by checking out the vlog for the No Fear sock knitting book that should be coming out soon. And that can maybe jumpstart your participation in the I Love Books and Sock Knitting knit along that Earth Tones Girl is hosting over on Instagram, I think, this year. I don't think she's doing Ravelry this year, but it's running through March and April. Basically just consume book media while you knit. So whether that's an audiobook, ebook, physical book, etc., totally up my alley. So I'm excited to participate. And if you've been thinking about knitting socks, Denise's book is a really great jumping off point if you are an adventurous beginner, if you are ready to tackle socks. The final finished object I have to share with you is the Basic Doodle Beanie 2 by Jamie Lomax. Ta-da! And this I made for a recent book box vlog. I opened Yarnaceous' October book box, where I read A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, and that book inspired this box that Maggie curated. So she collected all these goodies, she gained access to the pattern, she dyed the yarn for it, and as you read the book, you open different packages to get access to these goodies, which is so fun. So this is what I decided to do with my Doodle Beanie. I pulled these charts from various patterns I already had of Jamie Lomax's. So I have a fox from the Autumn deck, and I have sparkles, and I have a cauldron, both from the Spellbound half deck. I will say, I did not want a super slouchy hat. I picked the adult small size, and my head is pretty small. Like, I have a very petite head, and while there is a little bit of negative ease, I think I want more negative ease. I think I want a snugger fitting hat than the adult small. I think I need to knit the child or teenager size, because my head, I think it's 21 inches in circumference. This hat is 20 inches in circumference, and that was just not enough negative ease for the snugness I prefer in a hat. Another point, I didn't know how many doodles to pick to knit a hat the length I wanted, and this is a really good length for a slouchy beanie, but that wasn't really what I was going for. I wanted a tighter fitting beanie, maybe just like a little bit of extra fabric, but it's pretty long on me. I might do some surgery and like cut out this middle section since the contrast between the pink and the orange is not strong. I might just nix that and then Kitchener the two halves together and then make it a much better size for what I like. Still thinking about that. That might be a really fun like mending project to do. Maybe for March for Attack My Stash, I'll do like a Mend It March and fix and mend different projects I've had laying around and kind of like check those off the list. Maybe I'll do that. Will that use up my yarn stash? Maybe not. So maybe I'll do a separate vlog or maybe I won't. Let me know if you want to see a vlog from me where I work on fixing different projects and things that I have kind of lingering that I haven't gotten around to updating or mending. And if you want to hear more about the book, the goodies in the box, as well as this yarn and pattern, then make sure to check out my vlog. I'll link it up above and down below. I really like in general that Jamie's patterns, you can mix and match all sorts of doodles together and kind of plug and play them into different basic makes like a hat or a sock or a scarf or even a sweater. She's got a sweater pattern that you can use. And so I think that's just like a really fun model, and it's just sometimes hard to pick the different doodles that you want because there's so many good ones to choose from. In February, I filmed a vlog for Attack My Stash where I tried to finish it February and try to finish as many projects as I could. Now, I don't have as much free time as I used to. I have my 5-year-old at home now because I'm not working as much, and so I'm not paying for daycare, and I have a newborn in tow as well, and so I just don't get as much making time. I still finish things, which makes me really, really happy, but I also have quite a few projects that have been lingering that I was hoping to make good progress on, and I've made a little bit of progress on a lot of projects because I finished it February. So that is another idea that I have for March for my Attack My Stash vlog series, is maybe continuing to work through some of these works in progress to kind of get them off my needles and hooks. But let me know what you want to see from me. But let me show you the work in progress that I think is my priority for the month of March. This is the Mountain Romper Suit by Natasha Gizimova. And this is technically the 3-month size, though it's definitely a little big. I have to double check my gauge and see if it's a gauge issue or if it's just how the pattern's written to be very loose. But I would say this is not gonna fit a 3-month-old. This is definitely more a 6-month, if not bigger size. I mean, short little legs, but I think that'll work. All that being said, that it's a good thing I cast it on this size because it's taken me a while to finish this. I was working really hard on it in November, December, but then I had my baby and other things came up with test knits and whatnot. So this has been put to the wayside. I have recently started up the second leg. So I really just have to finish the leg, do the 2 little arms and do the button band, and then it's done. So I've done a majority of the knitting already, and I don't want my son to outgrow this, and I don't want the weather to be too hot that he can't wear this either. So I have a couple different factors that are really pushing me to finish this soon so he can get some wear out of it. Like I said, it's gonna fit more like an outerwear piece. So when we're going on walks in the morning and it's a little bit cooler, so he doesn't have a blanket on him, he can be wearing this as like a little outfit, or on just a colder, rainier day, this would also be really good as like a top layer. So I think I still have a chance to make good use out of this, but I do have to do some really good work on this in order to get it done. You can see it's got this beautiful like chevron-y type texture, which is really fun. This yarn, I'm using the Fiber Company's and Make Erin, and while I love this color, it's Aquaman. It's a perfect like earthy, desaturated, greeny, teal type of color. It doesn't give a ton of stitch definition for this texture, which is really cool. So missing out a little bit on that. I think other yarns would show the texture a little bit better, but I don't think it's necessarily a poor representation of the texture. I think it's gonna be really cozy. It's really squishy. The pattern is not my favorite. It's like 30 pages long. It's a little hard to wade through all that information when a lot of the knitting isn't like tricky. There's a lot of guidance in the pattern for how to make this stitch texture more intuitive, sort of like different appendixes and yada yada. So it took a while to wade through. And so the writing style is not my favorite. It's not written to Craft Yarn Council standards as far as the abbreviations or the symbols it uses in its chart or whatnot. They're often a different realm of pattern writing than what I'm used to. but it's still going well. And like I said, I am kind of on, not the final stretch, but I am well on my way to finishing this. So goal is to finish this in March so we can get some good use out of it before my baby outgrows it and it gets too hot. The next project that got a little bit of work done on it for Finish It February is my Warm Welcome baby blanket. Hard to kind of show the whole thing. And also I realized that the light has changed throughout this video, so hopefully we can get this done filmed before it gets dark outside. So I am still on the third color. I've not made a ton of progress, but I am now on the 4th row and I was on the beginning of row 2 last time I showed this. So this has definitely gotten a little bit more time, like I think 2 sittings of crocheting on it. I definitely want to spend more time on it. It's bringing me a lot of joy. It's really fun to work on. It's a really nice, simple project. It's so soft and squishy. And I've just had other things that are more time sensitive. So I haven't been able to work on this as much as I've wanted to, but I still am really enjoying it. I am using a combination of Emily Henry inspired colorways from Red Door Fiber. I have a bunch of the colorways in Surrey, and so that's giving it like that fuzz, that halo, and I'm holding it with Knit Picks Stroll to give it a little bit more structure. And I'm really liking that combination. And I also like how, because I have the Bear Stroll yarn, it's kind of toning down the Surrey to make it a little bit more like watercolory type of effect, especially because some of these colors are really punchy. So just kind of blending it all together a little bit more so you can see how I have done color blocks, but I've arranged the colors so that they are next to colors that coordinate well with them, if that makes sense. So I have a ways to go on that. I think I have 8 colors total of the Surrey, and then I have a 9th color that was in collaboration with Explorer Knits and Fibers. So I was gonna do the border on that color maybe. And I have one other color that has not been released in a Surrey yarn from Red Door. And so I might incorporate that somehow. I'm not quite sure. This is a long time work in progress, but I'm really enjoying it. Getting that blanket done would be really good at using up some yarn stash. So we'll see how soon I can get that project done. 2 sock whips I have to share with you. I haven't shown these in a little bit, but these are my Cup of Cocoa socks. Oh no, I stopped in the middle of a row. Why did I do that? These are my Cup of Cocoa socks by Charlotte Stone, and I'm knitting these for my brother's girlfriend because these were supposed to be a Christmas gift, and I thought she would really love the color work, the mix of colors, the peppermint hot cocoa vibes, and I did not nearly have enough time. So I'm slowly working on these. I should find out when her birthday is in case these would be really good to give her for her birthday. I'm slowly working on it. I've made a little bit of progress on the leg of the sock. I really need to decide how long I want the sock to be because I think with how big this color work is, I can probably start the heel pretty soon. It's a nice broken rib texture after doing all that 3-stranded color work that was not fun, honestly. This has now gotten to the simple knitting part, which is really, really nice. So maybe I should cast on the second sock so I can do the color work of that and get that over with, because I think once both socks have their color work done, I'm gonna fly through this because that color work was the worst part of knitting this sock so far. I'm using Woolbury Fiber Co. My skein's a little messy. I'm using Woolbury Fiber Co. in the Christmas Cocoa colorway. All these colors are from random minis and scraps that I had around, but I have no idea what their home is. But I have a green, a white, and a red. Oh, and a brown that I'm using for that. And then another simple sock that I casted on for Finish It February because I had the yarn prepped and ready to go and I hadn't started yet. I didn't get very far because I realized I had other things that were closer to being done or needed to get done sooner, and so this got put by the wayside a little bit, but now I can work on it more. This is a pair of vanilla socks, just toe up vanilla socks using the Freckled Whimsy 2025 Advent skeins. So I'm on the 3rd color. I'm about to start the 4th color. I finished the toe and I started toe up so that I can get all 24 colors in the striping sequence in each sock individually. So I figured this way I can just make the sock as tall as I need it to be. I do have the mini. I ordered the mini to go with it. It's this like taupey color almost. I think I'd describe it as oatmeal maybe. And so I'll do the heel in that oatmeal color, but everything else is going to be the stripes just to get through all 24 stripes. And I don't want a super, super, super tall sock, but I will make it as tall as it needs to be to include all the colors. So again, this is a really simple sock, easy to pick up, put down. Who knows when it'll get done, but it would be really quick to get done if I made this a priority. I don't know if I'll make it a priority for March though, but I think it'll get done pretty quickly in general. The final up I have to share with you is not actually knitting or crochet. This is cross stitch. And I first did a little mini cross stitch in the October book box from Yarnaceous Fibers, and that's what really made me decide I want to do more of this. Like, I'm really enjoying this process. And so I did some looking around. I bought a pattern off Etsy. This is the Knitting Raven pattern by Nethnolu. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it was such a cute and whimsical, kind of like a fall type pattern. There's lots of patterns of theirs that I really, really like, but I start out with that one. This is how far I am. So not super, super far, but you can see I'm doing this quadrant right now, and I've only used the black. So that is the eye, and this is going to be the beak. Again, it doesn't look like much, but I'm really enjoying myself. It's just nice to be able to put in, a couple strands worth of work every couple nights, just to kind of wind down. When I want to do something different than video editing or knitting, I can pull this out and work on it while I listen to an audiobook. So bringing me a lot of joy. I would love to make progress on this every single month, and to be able to show you my progress of working on a cross stitch pattern, because I haven't really done that before. So I think it would be really fun to share with you here. If you have any cross stitch designers you really, really love, I don't necessarily care for the more folky type of art that a lot of cross stitch patterns come with. And so if you think that you have a recommendation for me that's not in that realm, that's closer to this style, let me know. It was a really fun excursion to go to Michael's and pick out all of the DMC colors. There's a couple that weren't in stock, so I do have to go back. I need to remember to do that. Picking out all of the colors, because they had so many colors, and it was just getting me really excited to start a new project and a new craft. And I feel like the barrier for entry for cross stitch is a lot lower than embroidery, because I don't have to learn any new stitches. I just make an X. It's simple, and I can still have a well done piece even if I learn some tips and tricks along the way that can make my piece even better. I'm really excited to start on that new venture. So this is inadvertently a Yarnaceous Fibers episode. Did not do that on purpose, but Maggie is a local to me dyer, and as I have explored her yarns more at local yarn stores and purchased some boxes from her, I have really fallen in love with her color palettes and her dyeing style. So you'll see quite a bit of Maggie's yarn here in my yarn haul. I will say I am trying to use up my yarn stash, and I still have a net negative for how much yarn I used up versus how much yarn I purchased, and I want that to continue. So I'm not going to be having huge purchases of yarn. Hopefully, maybe for like the Utah Yarn Crawl or the Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair, I may purchase more. But in general, I want to have a net negative and to use up my yarn stash. That is my Attack My Stash goal for the year. You can watch my intro video where I talk about this process up above and down below. And thank you to all those who are new here on my channel from watching that video. That video did pretty well, and I'm really grateful that you are here. I just really want to build more of a community, and that my videos can find the kind of people that would enjoy this style of content. So thank you for being here, and let me know down below if there's anything in particular you want to see from me. But that is my overall goal this year, is to use up my yarn stash. Not like 100% or anything, but to actively work on using up my yarn stash with every project that I work on, and every single month having a net negative. I would love for 100% of my yarn to be in these shelves. That's not quite true because I have, some up there for a couple projects. I have a little bit over here. I have a couple bins of really old yarn stash, and I would love to just be able to consolidate it all. So I need to use up some yarn stash to be able to do that. First, I have purchased the Classic Literature Club from Yarnaceous. And so every single month you get some yarn inspired by a classic literature book. Self-explanatory. Last year she did the Swift Reads Club, which I have up there. I'm gonna make a blanket with it, and I'm gonna vlog about that process. But this year, classic literature, which is great because one of my big goals personally for my reading is to read more classics. So for the first month, it was The Great Gatsby. I read that book last year actually, and so I didn't reread it when I got that yarn. This month is Pride and Prejudice. And Bennett Blue is that mini. So pretty. Stunning. Honestly, this would go really well with the Swift Reads Club. So pretty. And it came with this cute little card and a quote. I declare, after all, there is no enjoyment like reading. How much sooner one tires of anything than of a book. When I have a house of my own, I shall be miserable if I have not an excellent library. Sorry, not going to say it in a British accent. And then there's also a cute little stitch marker that says Pride and Prejudice on it. So cute. Honestly, such a cute club. And again, I've read this book a couple times now, and my most recent read was last year, so I'm not going to read it again with this yarn, but I would love to make like a blanket with all these yarns. Maybe I should find a square pattern and then start working on that. And then I purchased the Valentine's Day box from Yarnaceous just as a little treat to me. Lots of really fun little goodies. So I'll pop up a picture so you can see what that looked like. Lots of really fun goodies. And I feel like Maggie does a great job at curating boxes like this. I've seen it in the book and yarn boxes that she puts together. And that was also true for this box. This is the yarn, and it is called Bookshop on Valentine Street. So cute. I love getting a sock set because it's just the most versatile bundle of yarn that I can think of, because I can make so many different types of accessories. I can make so many different kinds of sock patterns with it. I could use these in a blanket together. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this yarn yet, but so cute. Kind of cotton candy-like with the pinks and purples and blues. And then more Yarnaceous yarn. I went to her trunk show that was at Petits and Pearls at the very end of February. And I bought a couple things. I didn't realize she was doing a trunk show until I saw it posted on her page. And I saw this colorway. This is called Project Hail Mary, inspired by the newer book cover that has Ryan Gosling on it. Not my favorite. Like, I don't necessarily care about having his face front and center on the book, but this yarn matches the colors on that cover really, really well. Really beautiful. And I want to do a vlog because this book is on my TBR and it's one I really want to get to. It's on my 26 to read in 2026 list. And so I want to read the book, use the yarn, and hopefully see the movie soon. I think that would be really fun, and I'd love to take you along with me. So that's my plan, is to vlog it this month. If you have any good hat patterns for variegated yarns like this, let me know down below. I also purchased this sock set called April Showers. I just couldn't say no to like these minis altogether. So cute. No plans for this, but I need more tonals in general in my stash to use with other things. So this will definitely get used. Ooh, this could be a good gnome. That's a good idea. It could be a good gnome. What could also be a good gnome is this mini set. This is Petals and Paperbacks is the colorway. I just love these like warm, pinky, peachy, purpley, mauvey colors. Like, this is my color palette. I love this. Accidentally grabbed the DK set because I wasn't paying attention because my 5-year-old was with me when I was shopping and she was kind of distracting. So I grabbed the DK set. So now I have to figure out what I want to do with it. I didn't necessarily have a plan for the fingering weight minis, but I use those a lot more in projects because I use fingering weight a lot more. So I got to figure out what I want to do with DK yarn. Could do a doodle something, could do a hat. Lots of things to choose from. The last thing I have to share in the yarn goodies section is a blind date with a book and yarn. And this is from Fangirl Fibers. So I saw that she was listing these. She was trying to clear them out from her website. She listed it for like 20 bucks, which is honestly such a good deal. And so I thought this would be great to buy and then do a vlog where I open the package, read the book, use the yarn in a project. Again, book and yarn content is like what makes me happiest. So hopefully I can find my book and yarn lovers here on YouTube. But I chose the mystery book in DK weight. So I was thinking I could maybe make a hat or something with it. I wasn't quite sure, but I haven't opened it yet, so I don't know what the book is, but I'm really interested. I haven't read a lot of mysteries recently, and so I think this would be fun and a good palette cleanser. She does not have any listed on her website when I checked it this morning, but I could definitely see her doing this again. And she does other book-inspired yarn too, so make sure to check out her page if you are interested. Okay, so life chit chat, what's been going on with us? I'm still on maternity leave. I have a week and a half left. I'm getting a little anxious, though I'm not going back to work as much as I was before. I'm just going to be PRN. I work as a nurse on an ICU, and it'll be really good to get back to work. I hope that it will be seamless going through like pumping and like adding that to my workload, but it'll be really good to see my patients again and to, you know, be myself beyond being a mother at my job. So I'm looking forward to that, though a little nervous about that. So that's coming up this month too. We had just had the blessing for my son. So he is a little over 2 months old now. He's starting to coo and make lots of cute noises. He can smile pretty well if you smile at him, and he's just been really fun. It's beautiful to see a tiny, tiny being grow up and learn about the world. Other than celebrating him and kind of just being in the groove of things, we've done a lot of play dates and going places just to try to like get out of the house and get moving, because my daughter, being 5, has just so much energy, but she has been an amazing big sister. And so while it's been a transition to become a family of 4, overall it's been really, really good. I know not everyone can say that. Like, I feel really blessed and really lucky, but it's gone pretty well, like better than I thought. I had low expectations for how this transition would go, but it's going well, and there's a lot of love in our home. It's been wonderful. I just made a purchase of a bunch of nursing friendly clothes. So I don't know if you can tell, but this t-shirt has like zippers in it so I can breastfeed my baby. So I'm kind of adapting to new body postpartum and kind of getting back into the swing of things and having like real clothes on as opposed to like mangy sweatsuit sets. So it's nice to feel like a little bit more human and kind of, yeah, get into a better routine of things, still adjusting, still adapting, still figuring things out. So if you have anything that you want to see from me and my channel as we are kind of going through this flux and I'm trying to see what content appeals to my audience here, and as I try to grow my audience still and try to find the people who want this type of content, let me know down below what you want to see from me. Specifically, I'm doing the Attack My Stash series, so every month I'm doing a separate vlog about using up my yarn stash. Intro vlog, I started going through my older stash and organizing it and talking about my plan for using up my yarn stash. For February, I have a Finish It February vlog where I'm using up my stash, found it in WIPs. I'm thinking maybe March I will do like a Mend It March, but that wouldn't necessarily use up yarn stash, so I don't know. Should I just continue working on works in progress? Is there anything else you want to see from me? Should I keep classifying the yarn I have? Maybe I should find out exactly how many skeins of yarn I have in my stash, because I really just classified all the old stash that's in totes that I'll store elsewhere and pull out when I have a chance to work through that and have a good project in mind for it. So yeah, just let me know what you're hoping to see from me here on my channel. I promise that you'll see lots of book and yarn content combined, because that brings me a lot of joy, and I love sharing both about the books I'm reading and the yarns I'm working with, and honoring some indie dyers as well. I love supporting small businesses, and so you'll see that here on my channel. And just in general, talking about what I'm reading, talking about what I'm making, vlogging the projects I'm working on, all that kind of stuff. But if there's anything else in particular you want to see, let me know. I hear my baby. I think it's time to feed him, so I gotta get going. But thank you so much for joining me for this video and for joining me here on my channel. If you like this type of content and want to see more from me, definitely make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification down below to be notified every time I post a new video, because I have no upload schedule whatsoever, but I'm still posting regularly on this channel. And until next time, happy making. Bye!